So we're gonna talk about CONMEBOL. 10 teams. We shouldn't spend super long. Maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, or maybe 10 on CONMEBOL. It's very tight, and we're gonna find out who's gonna join Brazil and Argentina in the World Cup for Qatar 2022. So let's just take a look at the results. It's a lot of results, but let's just take a look at the results really quick that happened last time the teams met. And there's actually only 2 match days left. That's coming up in March as well. I call it March Madness, man. It's gonna be mad that Wednesday, and the Oceania games that's coming up the week prior, and the Wednesday. Oh my God, jeez, what a week that's gonna be. So it's a good thing I'm off from work the Wednesday night, and then Thursday and Friday, so I'll get to talk about these games. So look, let's take a look at the games that happened in January there, Football Pharaoh. Ecuador won, Brazil won. I think that was a massive result for Ecuador. Paraguay nil, Uruguay won. I did predict Uruguay under the new manager to pick up a win there. Argentina 2, Chile 1. Colombia nil, Peru 1. Venezuela 4, Bolivia 1. Then we had Bolivia 2, Chile 3, Uruguay 4 under the new manager again. Venezuela 1, Argentina 1, Colombia nil. What's going on with Colombia? We'll talk about them. They can't seem to score any goals though. Brazil 4, Paraguay nil, and we had Peru 1, Ecuador 1. So this is what the table looks like right now. Brazil topping with almost perfect with only 3 draws, 39 points. They have qualified. Argentina second, Aquafina no more. They have qualified, 35 points, almost perfect. 5 draws, no losses. Let's take a brief moment to give a round of applause to both Brazil and Argentina.
Dominant.
Yep, very, very dominant there. Do you see a situation where Argentina could leapfrog Brazil? I think the game that they didn't play might be awarded to Argentina.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. There is an opening here. There's not been a confirmation on what the status of that game will be, but it could be awarded to them. And if that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
case, they could potentially leapfrog them if they, get 6 points in March and Brazil were to drop, and then Argentina finishes top. That would be quite
yeah.
something.
And Brazil are more likely to drop points now, seeing that they have been rotating a lot, and they teams have just been giving them a lot of competition, seeing that the other teams are definitely desperate for points. Ecuador, we got to give a notable mention to. So Ecuador third, they're on the cusp of qualifying, and I feel very good. I predicted Ecuador to qualify for the World Cup as well, so I feel good about that. Whether they make it in the playoffs or directly, I did predict Ecuador to make it back to the event. Uruguay, who I did predict to qualify as well, have picked up the pace since the sacking or since they parted ways with Oscar Tabarez. Peru under Ricardo Gareca are looking good with 21 points to make it a successive World Cup after the hiatus. They're, 36-year hiatus? Then Chile, disappointing after a little resurgence there. They disappointed again. They still in with a shout with 19 points. But for Colombia, I think the dream for World Cup 2022 is disappearing game by game, man. A maximum of 23 points attainable. Football fair, I think that's it for Colombia. I don't think they'll make it. Bolivia won't make it. Paraguay won't make it. And, of course, Venezuela, the only country from CONMEBOL yet to qualify for the World Cup, sadly won't make it. But did look okay under Jose Peckerman to basically, knock out Bolivia with that win there. Before we do go on, do you see Venezuela qualifying for the World Cup soon, maybe in 2026? Who knows?
It could depend on a whole number of factors, but I wouldn't hold my breath. For some reason, they just they lay an egg in World Cup qualifiers most times. I think South America is only getting like 1 or 2 spots. Even
Yeah.
then, it's unlikely that they'll qualify, but it certainly gives them an opening. Do you want me to go ahead and comment on the teams under
No,
as well?
just discussion. Bolivia. What's up in Bolivia? Can't win on the road, man. What's going on with that, bro?
You want to hear a very spicy golden nugget?
Yeah, I know it since about 1994. So right, since about 1990 something, they haven't won on the road.
The week I was born, in
Yeah,
July of 1993, they've not won a road game. That is horrible. Um, you know, back in November, they won like 3 out of 4 games, like October November window, and like a lot of folks were saying, "Oh wow, is Bolivia now making a case for?" Nah, they can't get results on the road to
they
save their
were
lives.
making it. They were making a case, but I think if they had beat Chile in La Paz, they would have definitely put themselves in a very good position. But I think that loss, knocked the stuffing out of them, man. Yeah. Paraguay, very poor, man. They just lack the quality, I think, and they didn't play too badly, but towards the end there, it's like teams just took advantage of them, like they were happy to play Paraguay, and they would miss out on the World Cup once again for sure. They're out. Venezuela out. Paraguay are out for sure. Bolivia, 21 points won't be good enough. They're gone. Colombia. Talk to me. What is up with
Hmm.
Colombia though? It's been how many games and they haven't scored a single goal, man. It's ridiculous.
I believe 7.
It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. The talent that they have and the attacking players that they have at their disposal. How the hell they haven't managed to score a single goal? And how is the manager is Rueda, right?
yeah,
How
Ronaldo
is
Rueda.
Ron? How is he still in charge?
I don't know. 7 games without scoring a goal for a team like this that has, in my view, like a top 3 attack in South America, arguably, it's insane, and they put themselves in a huge hole here. And the only saving grace for Colombia is that they have the easiest possible schedule they could hope for coming up. And if they're going to need 1 or 2 other results to go their way because they don't control their own destiny, but there is a small opening there. But they could be the big casualty this year who don't make it to the World Cup, and it's a huge disappointment because they just haven't been able to find the back of the net, and the responsibility for that, I think, has to lie at the feet of the manager.
But the thing is, who says that they're gonna beat Venezuela? That's the thing, because Venezuela have proven themselves to be a real banana peel when it comes to this stage of World Cup qualifying. You could ask Paraguay of what happened in 2018, because Paraguay with a win in that game would have qualified with about I think 27 points. Paraguay would have made the World Cup. But because of Venezuela, they, with those young players from the under 20 crop, they destroyed Paraguay. And we could see a situation where Colombia failed to beat their neighbors here on the road. But,
Yeah,
and even in a desperate situation, Football Pharaoh, 23 points is not enough. That is not enough. Because Ecuador 25. Uruguay, I think Uruguay would end up getting more than 23. And even if they let me see, for Uruguay, their schedule is they have Chile, that's a 6 pointer, and they have Peru, another 6 pointer. So things could favor Colombia. They have to win their 2 games though.
yes.
But I don't think results are gonna favor them for them to qualify. I honestly don't think they did enough to qualify for the World Cup.
The way they could make it would be 6 points. That's completely non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And then they would need Uruguay, Peru to end in a draw, and they would need Uruguay to lose on the road to Chile, with Chile failing to get a result against Brazil. So they need a lot to go in their favor. But the funny thing is, all of those sound plausible. Like all
Yeah.
those things could
It
happen.
does sound plausible. It definitely sound plausible. They might just luck out. They might just actually luck out.
They
But
might.
to be completely honest, bro, the form is worrying, and it could be a situation where even though they play Bolivia at home, Colombia have played games at home and have lost and drawn the games at home.
Sure.
There could be a situation where they draw against Bolivia, because even though Bolivia do not win on the road, they don't lose all the games on the road. You see what I'm saying? There's a draw here and there. And I just think Venezuela won't lose to Colombia. I think Venezuela would actually relish the opportunity to prevent Colombia from qualifying for the World Cup. And I think
Yes.
Colombia will actually miss out. So it leaves Chile, Peru, and Uruguay for that last spot, where Uruguay could get past Ecuador as well. But for Ecuador, it's a tricky situation for them. But for them, they do have Paraguay, a team that they would fancy their chances against. And their last game there for Ecuador is against Argentina, where I do think they could lose that game, but pick up a draw. I think Ecuador are in the best position, obviously, and I think they will qualify with at least, pick up 2 points and go up to 27 points. But I do think Ecuador, even 1 point would be enough for Ecuador to qualify, simply because for Peru, they do have a game against Paraguay, and the other game for Peru is a 6-pointer against Uruguay. So anything happens in that game will favor Ecuador. You see what I'm saying?
They could qualify with 0 points in the next one.
Exactly. And the Chile-Uruguay game will favor Ecuador as well.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that Ecuador will qualify. So it's down to Uruguay, Peru, and Chile.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, bro?
As far as that last fourth spot,
That third and fourth spot on the playoff spot, who do you think will ultimately get those spots?
I think Ecuador has enough of a cushion now to finish third. They could even finish third still with 0 points or 1 point. For that fourth spot, I think it's very cut and dry for Uruguay. Like, if they win, they qualify. They're through, because Peru can't mathematically catch them. Colombia already would not be able to match them if they were to beat Peru. And Chile would have to beat Brazil and Brazil. So Uruguay can punch their ticket. They could lose that last game against Chile on the road. As long as they beat Peru at home, they're through. And I think they were the biggest winners from this most recent window, turning things around the way they did. Who do I got coming in fourth?
Do you think that
It's tough to
Uruguay?
say.
Do you think Uruguay did the right thing by parting ways with Oscar Tabarez after such a long time?
I think this is going to be an unsatisfying answer. I think it's too early to tell, because if you look at their schedule in October and November, they had a brutal schedule. They played against Brazil and Argentina. I think because of the way that the schedule was backlogged because of COVID, they played 3 of their 4 games were against the same 2 teams, Brazil and Argentina, and that was always going to be rough for them. And then now this 2022, the last 4 games, they're playing against teams that they're better than. So I don't know if this is the result of new management or just because of the fact that Paraguay is in the dirt at the moment, and Venezuela, of course, usually performs poorly in qualifiers. I think it's too early to tell. I think I have to see more with Diego Alonso than just these 2 games. But I will say I think they're in the driver's seat right now. Last thing about Uruguay I want to say is if they don't beat Peru, if they draw that, then it gets really dangerous for them, because if they go into that last game against Chile on the road and Chile is still alive, that's a blood match right there.
Yeah.
They have to beat Peru.
Chile won't be alive in that. I think Chile against Brazil, it's the worst game you could possibly play at the moment. They do not beat Brazil, in my opinion. In Brazil, there's a possibility, of course, but
they don't have to. They don't have to.
But I think Brazil win that game, and the match between Uruguay and Peru. Look. The match between Chile and Uruguay, pardon me, it could end up being a game where Chile could be playing for their lives as well, because Peru would still Chile would still be alive, because on 19 points, let's say Peru did not win their game against let me see the game
Paraguay.
against Uruguay.
Yes,
Peru plays Uruguay.
You're right.
Let's say Peru picked up a point there. You see what I'm saying? That means Chile would still be in with a shout. You see what I'm saying? Simply because the goal difference for Chile right now is better than the one of Peru. So it's going to be very, very tricky. It's a lot of permutations. But just know Colombia, Chile, Peru, Uruguay, and Ecuador are scrapping it out for 2 direct spots. And they'll be the playoff spot up for grabs. Look, Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, Uruguay, and Colombia were my initial picks to qualify for the World Cup. Those are my picks, and I'm gonna stick to it. I don't think Colombia deserve to qualify for the World Cup, but they do have a very, very kind bit of fixtures coming up, and I think they might actually end up picking up 4 points from those, or let's say maybe 6 points. They might pick up 6 points, and those 6 points, take them up to 23 points, might just be enough to get that playoff spot, and they might just squeeze into the World Cup, though. You see what I'm saying?
It's definitely possible.
But what we know for sure, that these next 2 match days in CONMEBOL, they must watch. You shouldn't miss them for anything. I know it's going to be hard, but you got to tune in, man. Those games are going to be good ones. So, look, what you have anything else to add on CONMEBOL?
Yeah, those 4 teams, Uruguay, Peru, Chile, Colombia, that's going to be a very, very interesting race to watch. I think Colombia, it's unlikely they're going to make it, but I think they're being their chances of squeezing through are being a little bit underestimated. Anything else I'd like to add? I feel pretty good about my thoughts on Peru dating back during the summer. Like a lot of people wrote them off because they got off to another very poor start in the qualifiers like last time, and I kept saying nah, don't count these guys out. They're gonna make a late surge. And they might do it again. So
yeah, Peru right now. To be honest, even though I didn't pick Peru to qualify, I must say this to any Peruvian fans watching this: Peru would at least get a playoff spot here because they play against Paraguay, and I do think that they will beat Paraguay. It's set up for Peru on home soil on the last match date for them to get, and it might just be, they might just get ahead already with a win against Uruguay. We don't know. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think Peru would definitely get 24 points, at least 24 points. Even if they lose to Uruguay, they will go up to 24 points, which means that for Chile, they have to end up getting 5 points, and there's no possibility of getting 5 points. But they do have to get at least 6 points then in their remaining games to get past Peru once Peru picks up a victory against Paraguay, who are definitely in the mud right now. And Chile, I don't think will pick up 6 points. They're not going to beat Brazil, and the other game is a 6-point against Uruguay. And they're not winning that game, in my opinion. Whether it's on home soil or not, I don't think they're winning that game. I think Chile miss out on the World Cup again. Sorry to say.
Let me just ask you one thing before we move on. Do you think Chile enters into match day 18, the last match day? Do you think they enter into that still alive, or they're gone?
The last match day still alive. Well, for match day 17, we have Argentina, Venezuela. That's a dead rubber right there, right? Then we got Colombia, Bolivia. Colombia picks up 3 points. Well, Colombia goes up to 20 points, right? So Colombia is still very much alive. Paraguay, Ecuador. Ecuador needs to win or get a point to, put themselves in a better position there. Paraguay, insignificant there in terms of them they won't qualify. Chile needs something against Brazil. I don't think they'll get anything against Brazil, to be honest. And Uruguay versus Peru. Uruguay on home soil most likely will win that game, but Peru is a very tough opponent, and they could at least squeeze a draw. The last match day, Chile versus Uruguay, needing at least 3 points. Look, I think it might be too late for Chile. I think it just might be too late because remember there's Colombia, there's Peru against Paraguay. You see what I'm saying? Those teams could go above get be unassailable in terms of Chile catching them. You see what I'm saying? And then look, I don't think Chile qualifies, bro.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't think they qualify. So
But they can make it interesting.
yeah, I do think it's gonna be crazy here. It is gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be really crazy, man. One of Chile, Peru, Uruguay, or Colombia, we know are gonna miss out on the World Cup. So two of those, two of those countries will miss out. Which is crazy in itself, man. So look,
Best qualifiers in the world. I love CONMEBOL.
yeah, we could go on and on because the permutations are so there's so many permutations, and it'll take a whole day, take a big calculator to actually you need to go to that website and put in all the results to know what's going on, and then there's a lot of permutations, man. So let's see what happens in March.